break from this world. Running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't feel. I just wanna be.
Exactly, man. God damn. And the camera's rolling.
Painful fibroid symptoms, heavy periods can be unbearable. It can make you feel stuck, trying to avoid surgery, wondering, what are my options? At USA Fibroid Centers, we offer uterine fibroid embolization, an office-based, FDA-approved treatment that provides lasting relief from fibroid without surgery. The freedom to be you is right around the corner. Don't wait for your symptoms to worsen. Treatment is covered by most insurance plans. Call now.
Welcome to On the Leather with Coach Ella. I am your girl, Coach Ella Destiny, and this is
Lawrence Owens.
What else you want to say? Lawrence Owens what?
On the Leather with Coach Ella. I'm the co-host with Coach Ella on the Leather.
He is the co-host. This is Women's History Month, Ella, and we have some amazing women coming up. They are making history.
Really?
They're making history.
Well, I want to meet a couple of them, man. We're going to see what history we're going to make.
Not in the way that you think, but they are definitely making history. And I cannot wait to get into their stories. When we come back,
I want to get into some stories, too.
When we come back, we're going to get into their stories and why they're making history and why it was so important for me to bring them on this show. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're getting all into it. On the Leather with Coach Ella.
Stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
Living for weekends, wishing I could take a break from this world.
Welcome back. As I said, this is Women's History Month, and we have some amazing women on the show today that are making history, but not in the way that you think. And let me just put this disclaimer. On my show, I do not curse because I always want to make sure that I'm doing things in decency and order. But for the ladies that are here today, I have to make sure that I am conveying the message that they want to bring in the reason why they call themselves what they call themselves. And they are strong as mothers. Let's get into it. How did you guys come up with the name? First of all, welcome to the show. I thank you ladies for coming, for not finding it robbery to lend us your time to tell your stories, because it takes strong ass mothers to do what you ladies are doing. And so thank you guys for just coming and allowing me to have a conversation, or allowing us to have a conversation with you.
Yeah,
How did you ladies come up with, absolutely. How did you ladies come up with the title, Strong Ass Mothers?
So first off, I'm the mother of the late great PJ, better known as Peyton John Evans. My son was an 8-year-old that was killed in Landover, Maryland, August the 24th, 2021. All we heard was pa, 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 pa. So everybody ran in the house, and I was the last person to walk in the house. All I hear is, PJ! PJ! Get up! My my son was shot in his head.
This is where 8-year-old Peyton Evans, lovingly known as PJ, was shot and killed.
The mother of the 8-year-old boy tells us he was eating dinner, playing video games with his cousins when bullets began flying into their apartment.
My son was killed by a stray bullet while in the house. The bullet was not intended for him. He was in the house minding his business, eating a taco, chilling with his family, playing a game. And my son's life was cut short. And just living that nightmare, you know, it just definitely opened up a window for us, for myself to find a new purpose in life. I talked to my brother Prince, and he's a big street advocate with everything that goes on in the community. So I was just letting him know, like, I feel like, you know, we need to have a voice for the mothers and even the fathers too. We want to have a voice for the parents that's going through what we're going through. It's a fraternity and a sorority that nobody should ever have to enter.
Absolutely.
You know, so we basically just had an event to bring awareness to gun violence in the area, to share our stories. We're a group of 5 mothers who all our children were taken by gun violence. So,
tell me some things PJ liked to do. Like, what made him happy? What made him PJ?
Oh yeah, my son was a football star for sure. Everybody that knows my son's story, they knew him through the football life. My son was 8 years old, 150 pounds. It was a big youngin.
Man, what?
Yeah.
Say that baby
My son been playing football since he was 3 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my son was definitely
Your son
destined.
was football since 3 years old. That's what I'm talking about.
So he was destined to definitely go somewhere. He was one of them big boys that they said, dang, he had quick feet. He was good on his feet. He was light on his toes and fast off the line. My son played as a lineman on offense and defense. So, yeah, my son was definitely known to be a football star for sure. He had big dreams with football, so that was cut short. But you know, but he definitely left a mark on the earth. I'm making sure that it still ring. His name still ring.
PJ. Kay, how did you tell us a little bit about your story and how you became a strong ass mother?
So I lost my son, King Edward Douglas. He was a 13-year-old that was shot and killed by a 12-year-old at the Dave & Buster's in Capitol Heights. I dropped my son off. He pressed me out to drop him off to play with some friends. Dropped him off, and maybe about an hour and 15 minutes, my son was gone. He got shot in the back. The boy that shot my son came up there to fight my son's friend over a girl and ended up getting in a fight, lost the fight, ended up putting the gun out there and shooting, and my son was a target. Well, he wasn't the target, but he ended up getting hit.
And at 13 years old, over a girl. We were just having this conversation on a previous show. We were talking about the youth and the violence and what's going on with them and why they are the way that they are. I cannot imagine sitting where you ladies are sitting. So, you know, my heart goes out to you because that is not something I don't know. You know what I mean?
The way y'all hold it together.
I'm telling you.
Show kudos.
I'm telling you.
Appreciate it.
And I will say, even though, you know, I have lost, he was not my biological son, but I raised him, and he was killed July 19th of 2022.
I'm sorry.
His twin was killed 6 years prior to gun violence. And so I can identify with the pain. I can identify with what you ladies are going through. It's not easy. How do you get through this? Like, how do you know what I mean? How do you press on? Because I can't imagine my baby at 8.
You find a new person. For sure. Yeah.
Without God, nothing
Yeah,
is
for
possible.
sure. Yeah, that was my push anyway. So me and my son, we said affirmation every day. And I couldn't give my son an affirmation to live by if I don't live by it. You know what I'm saying? So like my son was going through a lot of things with football, and he was real like active into football. So it was like my son, one day he just was feeling real like out of whack. He was like, Mom, on a new team. There's better dudes on the team than me. I'm like, nah, they ain't better than you, bro. You just gotta press harder. That's all, isn't it? Now you playing with competition. So I had to come up with the affirmation. And the affirmation was, I believe in myself. I believe in myself. Without God, I'm nothing. With God, I'm everything. So I can't let my son say that every day and make him live by that. And now that he's gone, I can't live by it. So without God, I'm nothing. So I just press on and I pray every day. I just manifest everything that God need me to do. And I feel like my purpose now on earth is different. You know, at first my purpose was being a mother and giving my son everything that he needed to be the person that I was, you know, helping him be. You know what I'm saying? But now my new purpose on earth is to honestly just give back to the community and try to find a solution to the issue with gun violence in our area.
And what do you think the solution is? I commend you because what I'm hearing you say that we don't hear a lot of parents say anymore is that I spend time with my child.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I gave them affirmations. I pray with my child.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We don't get that. And I think that's where a lot of the issues come from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because these kids now, they are pushed and they're forced to become adults.
Mm-hmm.
It's in, you know, we're moms, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And the one thing that we talk about all the time on the show is accountability and how
that's my favorite word.
We have to hold ourselves accountable.
Right.
And the one thing that we talk about a lot is when these mothers, you know, the dads aren't in the house. And so they tell the kids, now you got to be the man of the house.
Oh, yeah. That's
you know
crazy.
What I mean? So now they feel like they got to go out here and steal cars and rob this because I got to feed my mother. I got to take care of my mother. It broke my heart to hear a mother say that my son took care of me. What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, see, like for me, I would say
or something like, what do you mean your son took care of you? How you and you're a man at 14 years old? Do you think you can take care of your mother at 14 years old?
Not at 14.
And that's the thing.
Not
like how I don't know where we got this from that our sons are supposed to take care of us.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's what's happening, and that's how
forcing them to be grown.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you ladies think that with the people that took your son's lives, like I know I heard you say that you talked to or you spoke to the young man. What was that like?
You know, my first time speaking to him was probably during trial, and I just let him know that you took the best thing. You know, you took the best thing that you could have ever took. You took a good kid. Like, people depended on my son. You know, people really depended on my son. And I told him, I apologize because your mother failed you. She failed you. And I looked at her and I told her the same thing. You a failure to your son. And so, like I say, karma is real. That's another thing I told him. Karma is real. It comes back. I don't care how you look at it. I don't care how much you pray. It comes back.
Yeah, for sure.
But I got to blame the parents.
Yeah. And that's the thing a lot of times, you
know, you know what I appreciate? That we need more of that. The honesty and the raw emotion. We have to stop telling people how we think they should feel about a situation. I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah.
It wasn't no, he needs to know what he did and to the magnitude of which he did it. Because when you're that young, you don't understand that sometimes you don't get mulligans, you don't get do-overs. So you need to understand the magnitude of what you did. You affected a whole community, is what I'm saying. So kudos to you for doing that, because oftentimes we hide behind children and make excuses for them.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue now. Yeah, the courts, they got to hold them accountable too, though. Yeah, because they letting things go free.
They let them go.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So I just went to court.
Yesterday.
We went to court yesterday. And prior to that, we had trial. He pleaded guilty. And he was put on an ankle monitor. And so he was staying at his coach's house. After the ankle monitor, they released him from the ankle monitor and they put him on probation. So yesterday when I went to court for a status hearing, he has had 16 unexcused tardies or absences. 16 unexcused absences. And he's failing in his classes. He's failing all his grades. And that's supposed to be a stipulation of the probation to show up. And he's doing virtual. And he's still not attending. So.
I mean, he can't even lift the laptop up.
Nope.
That's crazy.
So that's again like the course is tapping them on the hand again. You feel me?
Let them know.
So it's not just the parents; it's also we gotta hold the courts accountable, the laws,
the legislators.
Yeah, we gotta.
And that's the thing, because I know young men that have robbed and stole cars and all of that stuff that's doing 10, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about taking somebody's life
Mm-hmm.
and he's at home?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. So the judge got thrown off the bench. We got him demoted. So he's now doing adult cases. He's no longer on juvenile cases. In PG County, they really only have one judge for juveniles. And so he was the only judge at the time. And after my son's trial, I was like, we can't do this.
Yeah, he was
we gotta
demoted.
get him removed. And we did that.
What did his mother say to you when you expressed how you felt about the situation?
So in court, she said she was sorry, but according to everybody else, she's online saying that her son is being targeted and she don't understand why we targeting her son, why we attacking him, stuff like that, like he's the victim.
I want to say to you, you sitting here as calm as you are is so admirable. And I always tell people to not look for the good or the bad in situations, but the God in the situation. What am I supposed to be learning? What am I supposed to be teaching?
That's
what am
that
I
purpose.
supposed to be doing in this situation? And always understanding that there's a purpose for your pain.
Absolutely.
And I'm so thankful that you ladies are talking about it, because I say all the time over and over again, God can't use it if it's a secret.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even though it hurts us, even though it's painful, there's something that's supposed to come out of this pain. And so
Absolutely.
I'm glad that you ladies decided to use your voices. I know that you've been on a number of platforms talking about your story. How is it that you find your strength to talk about it?
Yeah.
Over and over and over again.
To be honest, like I said, I just honestly just try to push through, because I feel like this is my purpose now. Like, my purpose is to let the world know what was taken away from me, what was stolen away from me. And see, so for me, my story is a little different because I planned my son. You know what I'm saying? So me planning my son and me going to the extent to try to have a child because I'm a lesbian is like, I feel like my story is a little different than everybody else's. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't just lay down and have a kid. You feel me? Like, at the end of the day, I planned my life to be a mother because this is something that I wanted for myself. And for it to be taken away from me in the snap of a finger, it's just like my push is a little different, than most people. And I just feel like, honestly, as hardcore as I was on my son about just being the best, not only in football, to be the best in school, that was my number one thing. My son knew if he came home with a C, you're not going to football practice. You know what I'm saying? Certain things he just knew that his mother just wasn't playing about. You know what I'm saying? And just teaching him to be a great person of people. My son was big on love. My son was big on giving back to the community. My son loved giving to the homeless. People never knew this about my kid because I never sat around and publicized all of that, right? But every week, my son like, yeah, Mom, let's go feed the homeless. You know what I'm saying? Holidays, Mom, I don't want no Christmas gifts. Let's go give it to the homeless. Nobody knew that about PJ. So now I feel like, I have to live now for my son's purpose.
No, God knew.
Yeah,
God
for
was
sure.
like, come on up here. Your boy is serving a higher purpose.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I just look at it like, their mission here complete. Because it's not about how long you live, it's how you live when you was here.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And both y'all got two beautiful boys that basically now getting y'all to the point that, okay, this is what we have to do.
Yeah.
Because y'all don't have to do this.
Yeah.
Y'all can sit and wallow, but y'all choose not to.
Nah.
Kudos to that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Man, because can't nobody fathom that. I can't fathom that. You understand what I'm saying? So I really hope.
You never know how strong you gotta be until you gotta be strong. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, a lot of people thought I was gonna lose it. Because I really surrounded my life around my son. Like, when you saw me, you saw my son.
But Tiffany, if you do lose it, this the thing. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing that people don't understand. You gotta go in the corner, yell, cuss out God.
Oh, no, for sure.
Tear this up. We paid for this episode already. Tear this up. If you got
for
to.
sure.
But what I'm saying is
sure.
that you have to find out what works for you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the thing. And I'm saying, I'm giving y'all flowers to say, I'm appreciative of women who have found a lane what works for y'all.
Yeah, for sure. So my new purpose now, I just feel like it's just living to see my son again. So my purpose and push is a little different. You feel me? Like some people do give up, and I don't fault them for giving up because it's a hard case. You feel me? This is a hard life to live. I'm not gonna hold you. I wake up every day. I was a mother. I woke up every day cooking breakfast, made sure my son got to school on time, made sure my son had whatever. I sacrificed my life for my son.
And I don't think people see that because we always laughing and joking. And, you know, we standing strong. So I don't think they see the behind the scenes of us, them suicidal thoughts. So, you know what I'm saying, them tears. And them,
it's a plenty days we wake up and we in a group chat and we gotta encourage somebody.
Let me say this. Where's my camera? Do I got a camera like I used to? It's me right here. Look. Nah, because I need to say this. To the white people who gonna start watching this show, notice how not one time did any of these young ladies bash the father. So sometimes when things happen, it has nothing to do with the father being there or not. These women, they complain about the father not one time. Because they ain't here to talk about that. They here to talk about their sons and how important they was when they was here. So let's stop trying to illuminate, you understand what I'm saying? Things that have nothing to do with the situation. Because now hearing that the courts just basically said, all right, don't do that again. That means this young man might be out again. And you never know what he might learn in that little bit of time in there. You don't know what's on his mind now. You don't know what he's being told by his family. So is he going to be rehabilitated? Is he going to understand, you know what I'm saying, what he's done? So
it's a sad case. It's sad.
And that's what goes back to what we talk about, why people our age, when they see the youngest, now they already paranoid. So if he let loose on a youngin', we always want to get on this older dude, but you're not understanding. He might have read a situation where this little boy killed a 13-year-old and then he out. How do you think older people supposed to feel? But then they want to put the onus on us, say, well, you got it. I would love to, but I need help. I don't mind talking to these young men out here, but what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to give up my time just to be the excuse or the scapegoat. I'm not going to do that. If we're not doing any progress, I'm out.
Definitely.
For sure.
And that's the thing. You know, I hear you ladies saying over and over again that you spent time. We're not spending time with our kids anymore. It's get out of my face, or I'm going to put an iPad or TikTok in front of them so that I don't have to be a parent, so that I don't have to communicate with my kids, so I don't have to spend the time that I need to spend with my kids. And that's what's happening. And so they're finding time elsewhere. They're finding other things to do. And so when they get out in the streets or whatever, it's, oh, my friends are doing this or my friends are doing that. And so it's cool. I'm going to smoke fentanyl. I'm going to get high. I'm going to go take somebody's life.
They want to be friends with their kids.
And they want to be friends with them.
And that's the thing. That is the thing. Listen, my dad was so, God rest his soul, he was so strong on, I am not your friend. I don't care if you're mad at me. And a lot of times these parents,
that's how I was
they
too,
cater to these kids' attitudes because I don't want my kids to be mad at me.
With the designer, buying them designer.
Exactly.
And doing all of that. And they got to keep up with it, so they out in the streets. Or they stealing, or they robbing.
Because they too busy want to give to their children what they didn't
have.
And that's the thing.
Instead of teaching them, you understand the importance of, if this is what you want, how to go about to get it. Another thing, let the pride go. If you need help, I'm talking to mothers and fathers, and I'm not trying to single any parent out. Ask for help. And oftentimes, the majority of the time, the mother does have the child. But there is some single fathers out here who do have that.
lot more.
Sure.
Exactly. Then they get credit for. But if you need some help, say something. Ladies, especially if you have sons, send them to his father's house. It don't make you no less than a mother. It don't make you no less than a parent. If you be like, you know what, I tried, I can't get through, bye. But you got to act the ground trying to prove to y'all and trying to prove to my family and prove to society. No, your proof is going to get that child hurt. Because there's nothing worse than an overly emotional, uncoachable young boy out here in the world. Because the world does just like this and lick their lips. Because the first time that he don't get his way and he get the emulating female traits, then he going to see how it is for real.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I am just, again, I'm so glad that you ladies took the time to come and share your stories with us. So many people need to hear this because, like my aunt who lost two of her twin sons, you know, she doesn't have the strength to have these conversations. She can't get out of the house. She doesn't know how to connect and talk to people. It's hard too. Like your twins.
Yeah, that's why we like to be the voice. We like to be the voice for the mothers. We like to be the voice for them. We know what they feeling. We know what they going through. We talk to them on the back end. but we want to be the voice. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day,
Or help them.
help them. Yeah, help them too. Because we got some
others.
mothers that's in our group right now. They never talked about their story, and now they talking. You know what I'm saying? Now they could do an interview and sit and have an interview and be like, "Yo, that made me feel better," and not knowing that talking about your story is therapy. You know what I'm saying? So
mental health is real.
It is most definitely.
Don't have,
and we have our bad days.
Exactly. I'm telling you.
We ain't perfect every day. You know, some days Kay hit me and be like, "Yeah, I'm just having a bad day." You know what I'm saying?
Because you never get over it.
Yeah.
You only get better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
And
a
I'm
coping
saying,
mechanism. That's all.
That's it.
They put a time on it. There's no time on here.
You can't rush your grief.
Please
There's
don't
no
let
time.
it
Rush
be.
your grief.
You will
I
never
embrace
heal
it.
from this.
Yeah.
You will
I
never
embrace
heal
it.
from
I
this.
embrace every
Yeah, you
emotion that I
to.
have. I embrace it. I mean, you know, for the last year, 2022, I really set to myself, you know, and now it's like I'm more open to talking more, you know, and more with interviews and stuff like that. But, you know, 2022, I try to really just focus on myself and getting myself where I needed to be mentally, you know, really processing. You know, PJ really gone, Tiff. You know what I'm saying? PJ gone. So what you got to do now? You know what I'm saying? What's your push now? So I really, you know, try to constantly just encourage myself every day that I'm doing this so I can see him again. You know what I'm saying? So,
Absolutely. And I know that there was a why me moment.
yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Every day.
Definitely a why me
For a
moment.
while. Oh my gosh. Why did I go to my own house? I should have just went the hell home. You know what I'm saying? Why did I stop here? Why my son was the one that said, "Mom, let me go in Auntie house and eat my food." And I should have been like, "Nah, we should have left." You know what I'm saying? Just been at the wrong place at the wrong time.
I'm not still at that stage where y'all blame yourselves. I'm just asking.
I'm not anymore. But at first I went through it though for a while. For a while I just was like, I'm supposed to always protect my
I
son.
still feel like I go through it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I had that intuition. You know, mothers always have that.
You do though.
And
Yeah,
so
I had it too though.
I felt it that whole night that I was dropping King off. I don't never let my kids go out. And I have a now about to be 20-year-old. So he brought his birthday in coming on scene.
Okay.
He literally, my son died April 17th. And my oldest son's birthday is the next day. So at 11:57, he came on scene. That's how he brought his birthday in, his 18th birthday, arriving on scene with his brother. So I usually don't allow my kids to go out. And I was tracking my son. I was tracking King when he was at the Dave and Buster's. That's how I knew something wasn't right. So it was just so many kids in that parking lot. And something told me, don't do it. But I always let him stay in the house. So I wanted to be that parent that allowed my son to get out and socialize.
Especially dealing with the
other
pandemic.
kids, right.
Let me ask you this,
I
Kay.
do feel guilty sometimes.
How did it affect your oldest son?
My oldest son, he's different. He's different. He has his moments. He believes that he's so laid back and chill. He feels that he doesn't need to talk to anybody, but he needs to.
Okay.
Like he has his moments. Like my son never goes to the gravesite. He'll tell you he's a photographer. He don't want to do no pictures for the event. Recently, day before yesterday, my son asked, "Mom, can you direct me to his gravesite?" I directed him to the gravesite. I looked at his tracker. My son was out there for a whole hour. Put his phone on Do Not Disturb. He has never stayed at the cemetery that long.
And that's something I want to talk about.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about your mental health, because we've also been talking about mental health and wellness a lot, because it's so important with the climate, of what's going on in our city. So when we come back, I want to talk about your mental health, and I want to make sure that you ladies put your message out there. What do you want to tell other mothers and the youth? So when we come back, we're going to talk about the other side of their story, the mental health part, and the message that they have for the youth. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Feel my wings spread, levitate into the clouds. I'm so high.
Painful fibroid symptoms, heavy periods can be unbearable. It can make you feel stuck, trying to avoid surgery, wondering, what are my options? At USA Fibroid Centers, we offer uterine fibroid embolization, an office-based, FDA-approved treatment that provides lasting relief from fibroid without surgery. The freedom to be you is right around the corner. Don't wait for your symptoms to worsen. Treatment is covered by most insurance plans. Call now.
Douglas's family and friends. His mother can't believe he's gone.
I'm suffering. My son is suffering. My daughter somewhere is out here suffering. We don't have my son.
She said she had to plan her son's funeral Monday, even pick out his casket.
The worst feeling ever. 12 years old with a gun. And you ain't mean to shoot my son. All you saying is, I'm sorry. I ain't mean to shoot him.
My God.
But my son gone.
Welcome back. We're talking to the strong ass mothers, and I'm going to keep saying that. Although I don't curse, I'm going to keep saying it because these ladies are strong. I am sitting here and I am just, oh my gosh, I am filled with so many emotions right now. Like, I don't know how y'all do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it, and you do it with a smile.
Yeah.
You do it with grace.
Yeah. That's not but God, baby.
It is. It's God. It definitely is God.
It's not but God.
We
Did
actually.
you ever get an opportunity to speak to the people who was behind the situation?
My first interview that I did was with Channel 9 and Fox 5. They all was at my mom's house. That was my first interview. That was before they even got caught. It was 3 adults, and they were shooting at somebody that was at my aunt's house.
Okay.
So I just, was on the news, and I just basically just said, I forgive you. And a lot of people couldn't understand why I said that, because a lot of people miss the fact that I'm a spiritual woman.
That's big.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I can't hold nobody accountable. I can't hold nobody accountable for something that their parents might have missed out on with teaching them. You know what I'm saying? They were young men, but at the end of the day, they were misguided. Two of the brothers had a criminal record already. One of the brothers was released the same day that he killed my son.
So they were brothers?
Yep, 2 of the brothers, and then one guy, George, was the driver. So George is he's the driver, and then the 2 brothers were the ones shooting. Yeah. And the simple fact that I could say I forgive them is not for them; it's for me.
That's big.
Oh, forgiveness is always for them.
Absolutely.
I ain't gonna be able to do it.
Yeah, so it's for me though, because if I can't forgive them, I would still be stuck on August 24th. You feel me? So on my spiritual journey, I want to make sure that I'm healing in every aspect, not just allowing them to, just sit they hurt on me forever. Yeah, y'all took my son. That's something that y'all got to deal with God, not me. So I got to forgive you to be able to grow and prosper in whatever my new purpose is. So that was for me. That forgiveness was for me. So like I said, even when I do, my son's trial do come up, I'm definitely going to still tell them the same thing. And I'm going to let them know and their parents know if they in court. At the end of the day, you guys were misguided. And I can't fault you for that. I just hope and pray that this situation helps you become better men.
I want to tell you, ladies, that you are anointed and appointed. And for you to sit there and say, that you forgive them, that is nothing but God. There are so many people attached to your obedience, to both of your obedience, in using your voice and telling your stories. There are so many people attached to your stories. So many people are attached to you. Y'all got oil on y'all. So many people are attached to your oil. So many people are going to be blessed. So many people are going to be healed, not just physically, but mentally as well. So many children are going to be healed by listening to your stories. And so I am so thankful, not just to you all, but to God for using you. My dad used to always say, have you tried my servant Job? Or insert your name, have you tried my servant Tiff? Have you tried my servant Kay? That no matter what she goes through, no matter what I take, no matter what type of pain or anything that I inflict on them, have you tried them? Are they still going to stand for me no matter what's going on in their lives? Are they still going to stand strong? Are they still going to say, God, I'm still here. What do you want me to do? Where you want me to go? Send me, I'm going to go. Exactly. And that's hard. That's hard to do. It is so hard. I have a book that's called There's Nothing Wrong with Saying So What? And in my book, I'm talking about all the things that I went through in my life. And it's like, so what? So what? I went through that. So what now? What's your so what now? What's your so what now?
What's yours? Go
ahead. So what now?
What do you do now?
What do I do now? I got to reach out to the other children. I got to reach out to other moms. I got to support the community. I got to really tell my story so that I can save another child, so I can support another parent. They gotta hear us. I mean,
Yeah.
we gotta use the strength. Our sons ain't dying vain.
That's it.
We definitely gotta keep our son's name alive, and in the process, the strong ass mothers gotta be there for the mothers.
How do people reach strong as mothers? How do people reach out to you if they want to get in contact with you? If they want to talk to you? If they want advice? If they want encouragement? How do they reach you, ladies?
So my page is I have Facebook. I'm at K McKnight on Facebook, and on Instagram Gemini Queen _610. And I also have a foundation page for King, which is for King We Stand Foundation. So they can message me.
How do they reach you?
All right, so I have a Facebook. It's Tiffany Tiffani Evans is my Facebook. And then my son's page is IAM_PJ13. That's my son's page that I run. And my page on Instagram is IAM_LNAE Lene. You can reach out to me anytime. I get a lot of mothers that hit me up a lot. You know, and I just try to be a vessel. You know, I let God just use me. So
And I just want to shout out the other moms.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Keisha, her son died Trail. So long live Trail.
Yeah, long live Trail.
We got another one, Crystal
McKnight.
Crystal McNeil, Davon. So long live him.
Yeah.
We got Veronica.
Bump.
To
her
son
sons.
Twan.
Yeah.
So long live Twan. And then we have a new mom that was added, Taisha, and her son Andre.
Yeah.
Long live him.
Long live Dre. And I want to shout out Fat Boy and Pee Wee, my cousins, my son, Shelton and Sheldon as well. Thank you, ladies, so much again for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
When I tell you I am touched, I am moved. And if there's anything that I can do or we can do to bring more light, shed more light to your stories, I'm definitely going to take it back to my network and the people that I'm attached to, so that we can get you.
We appreciate it
everywhere. Like your voice needs to be heard. This is a movement.
Yeah, for sure.
Strong as mothers.
Yeah,
listen,
that's us.
Make sure y'all reach out. Make sure y'all connect. You ladies do not have to suffer in silence or alone. There is a community that's here for you to have the conversations to help you go through your grief. Strong as mothers. Thank you, ladies, again.
Thank you. Bless you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Living for weekends, wishing I could take a break from this world.
We're being very unapologetically black. Black women, black women, black women, black women.
Black women connecting communities.
When we get together and we do it collectively, that's even more powerful.
I sit in my own truth.
We want to distribute information to our people.
We are very organized. It's going to take us to come together.
Black women connecting communities.
Welcome back. We are continuing our celebration of Women's History Month, and our next guest is nothing short of an amazing woman with an amazing story. Welcome, Lynn, to our show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you're here as well. I know that you have an amazing story. And so first, I want to celebrate you because you are a woman. Girl power. Shout out to you.
Thank you, Queen.
Them boots.
Yes. So Lynn, I know that I have been hearing your name. I've been hearing that you have an amazing story. Tell us a little bit about who you are and tell us your story.
Okay, I'm Lynn L. Boogie, also known as L. Boogie.
Why do they call you L. Boogie? What's that about?
I had a podcast, so that was my name. I love to dance, so L. Boogie just kind of fits. Got a little two-step in me.
Hey now.
So L. Boogie.
Soul Train line that is in you. We don't see. Okay.
L. Boogie just stuck, and I had a podcast. So I'm a mother of two. Recently, survivor of non-Hodgkin lymphoma cancer. So I was So I was diagnosed in September of 2020. Been in remission since March of 2021. So the struggle was real. Like mental health matters,
Absolutely.
big time.
So explain to our audience exactly what that is.
So non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer is a type of blood cancer. It's kind of in the same family as leukemia. So it was a blood cancer. I had a 10 centimeter mass in my left lung, 3.5 centimeter in my right lung. And it was hard. I didn't know what was wrong with me because that was kind of the first year the COVID hit. So I actually thought I had COVID. But the symptoms were coughing, fatigue, no energy. And so I went to the doctor thinking it was COVID. And they were saying no, but to make a long story short, test after test, medication after medication, the doctors was like, let's really do an intense test to see what's going on, because I was having a hard time breathing. What was happening was the tumor in my lungs was pressing against my esophagus, so it was stopping my breathing, so I was having trouble breathing on laying down, sitting up, and then they decided to do a biopsy of one of the tumors in my lungs, and then that's when they diagnosed me with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
So when they did the biopsy, it was cancerous.
It was cancerous. So you dread to hear those 3 words: you have cancer.
How did they tell you? Like, what did they say? You need to come into the office. You need to we need to talk to you. Like, how did they?
So again, this was COVID time. This was a lonely time for me because I couldn't have anyone in the doctor's appointments with me. I had to go by myself. I was married at the time. And I was by myself when they called to tell me the results of what it was. Over the phone. I'm not sure that was a proper protocol, but it was over the phone. And so they went to tell me in more detail. The good news is it's curable. That's all I needed to hear. So I was like, push my sleeves up. Okay, God, this isn't for me. I'm going through this process for somebody else, to share my story, to help someone who has the same thing get through.
Now, Boogie, what's the origin? What's the pathology? Like, did they teach you, how does it formulate? Like, how does one get there? If they're able to let you know, or do you know, for the people?
The story of that is I was in stage 4 when I found out.
Wow.
I didn't even know that I had it through the other stages. Now, with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma blood cancer, they say the stages don't matter. But for me, that wasn't the case because my father passed away when I was 9 years old of cancer. So all I knew about cancer was death.
Absolutely.
So you couldn't tell me any stage where I was going to be okay with it or what led up to it. They actually did not tell me how I even got it. They told me I had it, what the process was to get cured. So which led to chemo, and which led to after my chemo treatments, they was hoping that after that the cancer cells would shrink and I would be good, which was the case.
So we've been talking a lot on this show about mental health as well. How was your mental then? Like when I would have lost my mind. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. I would have lost my mind. Like, I would have been like, what in the world y'all talking about? Who, me? Like, y'all not, you talking to me? Like, you got the wrong number. Like,
right.
She don't live here.
Yeah.
Like, how was your mental then when they told you? Obviously, you're in a much different place because you're sitting here talking about it and you're okay.
Yeah.
How was your mental then? And how did you get to where you are now mentally?
It was by the grace of God that I got through it because I knew I couldn't get through it by myself.
Absolutely.
When they told me I had cancer, I immediately thought to myself, I will live. I will not die.
All right, now, talk that
talk.
Talk.
So that was what got me through because I was determined to live and not die. Because I knew cancer meant death to me. And I was like, no, this is not going to be my end story. My end story is going to have faith through this faith walk it, and know that I'm going through this to help somebody else.
That is
And
it.
plus, you owe me $20 when I bought you lunch. So
How do you even know him? Like, how do you even get connected with him? Like, listen,
so, yeah, I'm glad
you are a phenomenal woman. Like, I'm sitting here looking at you, and I'm just like, how did you get associated with him? Like, how do you know this man? What?
I just told you, she owed me $20.
I had a podcast. I've been doing radio media for over 15 years.
Oh, good. Okay.
Elo was one of my first guests, and I have followed him and have been to majority of his shows throughout his career.
Right.
And he's been the consistent person that I've known from day one. It has always been that way. He's always been very supportive. I wanted to try my hand at stand-up comedy, and he was the first person I called to get advice from.
Wow.
I remember, and you see she ain't doing comedy no more, so that's the best advice.
I learned to stay in my lane. I learned that's just not my thing, but let me try it, you know. But yeah, that was just moments at the time.
I want to ask you, because a lot of times we get to share our stories. I have a health story as well, and we always get to talk about our stories, but we never hear from the people that it affects directly besides us. How did it affect? You have a daughter, correct? How did it
I have
affect
2
your-
kids.
Okay, how did it affect your children and your family?
It affected them deeply because, again, I was married at the time. My husband's mother passed away from colon cancer. His grandmother passed away from cancer. And my kids, when I first told my daughter, she burst out and started crying. I said, Mommy has cancer. You know, we're going to walk through this together. And I asked her, what did you hear me say?
How old was she at the time?
She was 13. She was 13 at the time. Okay. And I said, what did you hear me say? And all she said was, you're going to die.
Wow.
And she burst out into tears. I said, no. Mommy is going to live and not die.
That's it.
We're speaking life into existence. And we're going to get through this together.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure it was difficult, and she may have internalized it, but she actually turned into my bodyguard. She blocks everything in front of me. Now, my son is more laid back, and he is internalizing it, but he turned out to be helpful.
So did you go through, like, you know, normally when you hear that a person has cancer, they go through all of the sicknesses, and, you know, you might be vomiting, you can't get out of bed, all of that stuff. Like, did you go through, like, the sickness part of it, or you were just diagnosed and you started getting treatment?
Yeah, because everybody handles cancer differently.
Okay.
I lost all my hair. I lost my hair. I started. Yeah, I bought it. It's here.
It's yours. No matter how you got it back.
It came back.
Let me get that hair you lost. You still on the ground somewhere? Because I need it.
Listen, I'm above ground walking around, so that's all really that works. That's all really that matters right now. But it was good, and I forgot what your question was.
What was the process?
What was
like? Did you go through the sickness part of it?
Oh, I did go through the sickness part of it, and then I went through I had a seizure. I never had a seizure before a day in my life, and my husband checked for me because he knew that I was off. He knew I wasn't myself, and I end up saying one thing. I remember saying, "You're not going to understand this, but in the end, it's all going to make sense." Wow. And they was trying to figure out why I kept saying it. I was trying to figure out why I kept saying it. But I said it the whole entire time. Then I checked out, and he thought I was gone. So I went into the hospital for 5 days. They couldn't find out why I went into the seizure. They didn't even know what happened. I said, well, you got to understand, God doesn't show up on tests.
You got to say that. You better say that. So was it just a one-time seizure, or did you have a number of seizures? Because my granddaughter she had a seizure one time. It was just one. We thought it was one, and then she was diagnosed with epilepsy. Were you diagnosed with epilepsy, or it just happened one time and never happened again?
It just happened at one time, never happened again. Of course, I did go through the vomiting when I had the chemo treatments, because my chemo treatments were about 5 hours once every 3 months. So it was 4 different chemo medications that they had to put me through. And then I had 6 sessions. After the 3rd session, the doctor came in and she told me, okay, so the other part of the process of the treatment is we have to put chemo in your back because you have tumors that are in your head. And we have to remove the fluid from your back and insert the chemo in your back. So kind of like a spinal tap. I mean, like an epidural.
So wait, so you have tumors. Do you still have those tumors or no?
I have no cancer cells going on in my body right now.
God, wow.
Now, let me ask you this. So what do you have to do now? Is it some kind of regimen that you have to follow now since everything's been eliminated, like a certain thing you have to go by, what you have to do, a certain structure?
I have to go to the doctors I started having to go to the doctors every 3 months to check my blood levels, to make sure my white blood cells are where they're supposed to be, and make sure that no cancer cells are coming back. And they want to monitor how I'm feeling and any symptoms that come arrive. And so I've gotten past that stage, and then I've gotten past the stage where I go every 6 months. Now I go every year.
Praise God.
So God has definitely been walking with me during this whole entire journey because I could not have done this alone without him.
Now, you said that you was married. Did you go through this cancer? Did that affect your marriage in any kind of way?
It did.
Is that the reason why?
Yes. It may have been a combination of reasons why. Him watching his mom have to go through cancer and him having to watch me go through cancer. Some people are set up to handle that. Some people are not.
Some people can't. Listen, it is Women's History Month, and we go through a lot. As women, we go through a lot, and I'm not saying that men don't go through it, but we're talking about the women. It's Women's History Month, and we're talking and we're celebrating the women. We deal with things, we carry things, we get through it, we survive, and we are here. You are a survivor.
Thank you.
Listen,
yes,
you
God.
are the epitome of survivor. I cannot imagine. I feel like I went through a lot, but they told you had cancer.
That part.
Like, they said you had cancer, you went through chemo and all of those things, and you're sitting here having this conversation.
Yeah. And one of the things, I'm a writer too, so I documented my whole journey.
Oh, wow.
So that's going to eventually I want to turn it into a documentary.
Yeah, documentary, book, all of that stuff. Because someone needs to hear your story so that they can get through when or if they ever get that call that they have cancer.
Yeah.
How did you get through it? How did you survive? Like again, mental health is so real. It's so important. And you have a strong mental, like I can tell, like your spirit and your aura and everything is saying mentally, I'm going to get through this. I'm healed physically, but I'm healed mentally as well.
I had to constantly tell myself that, yeah. And that's what I say. You can't tell, that's like telling a smoker to stop smoking and you never picked up a cigarette a day in your life. You have to go through it in order to help somebody else. Just like the ladies that were here previously before. I commend them on their journey and their story, but they have resilience and they're strong as well too, to share their story. And it's commendable.
So do you plan on getting back into the profession of having a podcast? Like, how would you reach out to other women who also might have experienced what you do to let them know that it's okay? How do you plan on doing that?
Well, I've been speaking, I have done several interviews to share my story. Like I've hooked up with the Leukemia and Non-Hodgkin's Lymphoma Society, did an interview to talk about my story with them, and been talking to various people who have been going through cancer. Because when I first found out I had cancer, I didn't tell anybody for about 3 months that I had it. I only spoke to people who had cancer because I had to communicate with people who were going through the same thing. So I've been speaking to my daughter and I, we spoke to a girls group in a middle school, talk about how she helped support me during what I was going through.
That's good.
So speaking to various groups to help share the story of how my daughter has helped me, and my mom, even my ex-husband and my son, how they supported me during it, and help guide them too. Because with the young people, they see things like this. They see the stories of the young ladies that were here, and they don't process it well.
Absolutely.
So helping with your show, helping with mental health, me sharing my story, you having a platform for other women to share is how. And so, yes, I will be coming out with a podcast as well.
You better get into it. You better have the podcast. Somebody needs to hear that. You need to talk about it. Did you, with mental health, did you have to take medications, or it didn't get that far?
I had to take several medications. I can't even name them all right now. But
mental.
to God be the glory. For my mental, no.
Okay.
For cancer.
Oh, for your cancer.
I did not.
Okay.
I did seek a Christian counselor for my mental health during it.
Thank you so much for joining the show and telling your story. Somebody needs to hear that. And I am glad that you're here to share it with us. How can people get in touch with you if they want to share their story, or if they just need coaching, or they just need somebody to talk to, or they need a voice? How can people get in touch with you?
Okay, you can contact me. I'm on Facebook, Lynn L. Boogie Wood. I'm on Instagram, Miss L Boogie _1. I'm on LinkedIn, L Boogie. And the podcast is going to be called Conversations with Shantae. That's my middle name.
All right, Black Planet Tinder. But you don't put on that.
It will not be Black Planet or Tinder. Oh my gosh.
Plenty of boots, whatever website you want to put on, let her.
Oh, also, I'm on Black Women Connecting Communities.
Oh, good. Okay.
So BLKWomencc.com.
Talk your talk.
That's
don't ever let nobody tell you that you can't do it. You talk that talk. You already walk. I mean that.
Thank you.
Talk your talk. That was L Boogie, Lynn, cancer survivor, a woman who has gone through so many things, and she's overcome, and she was able to come and share her story with us. Thank you so much again for joining us, and we got to have you back to continue this conversation. When we come back, we're going to have Elo's Comedy Corner. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Do you come across as intimidating or insecure as a leader? Are you constantly experiencing a mass exodus? Is it important for your team members to respect and like you? Would you enjoy working for you and with you? Co-authors Shireen Davenport Gray and Anthony Herbert help you delve deep into the reflective leadership, how to lead people you don't like. Highly impactful and respected leaders have something in common. They know how to lead people they don't like. If you are ready to take your leadership game to the next level, this is the book for you. Also, for more information on leadership training offered by the authors, send inquiries to anthony@inspiredforchange.com. Paperback books are available for $24.95. Hardback copies are available for $32.95. Author-signed copies of the book may be ordered at www.inspiredforchange.com. Books are also available on Amazon. Buckle up and enjoy the leadership ride.
Feel my wings spread, levitate into the clouds. I'm so high.
And now, Elo's Comedy Corner.
Women's History Month. That's what we're celebrating. That's what today's show is about. 3 women with extraordinary stories. 2 of them lost sons. 1 of them survived cancer. So one thing that we're illuminating is, like we said earlier, you never know how strong you are until you have to be. And it's okay not to be okay. These young ladies was not okay, but they made a way through. So ladies, if you're ever in a situation where you feeling down, you feeling like you need help, say something like they did. But the great thing about today's episode with them extraordinary women that was on here, you know what they all did? They took some form of accountability. They didn't point the finger and bash everybody else. They didn't blame everybody else. 2 lost to gun violence. The cancer survivor had her husband leave because she was afflicted with something that she couldn't even control. But they all made it through. Ladies, kudos to y'all. Fellas, make sure we celebrate them all month. We ain't gonna make this man versus women thing. Because one thing I've learned, if you're gonna hold yourself accountable, ladies, now you can have conversations with men that we can all get better understanding one another. Because even though it's Women's History Month, don't forget, March 14th is Steak and Blowjob Day. This is Lawrence Owens, and this is your Comedy Corner. So make sure you strong about that too, ladies. All right.
My purpose point for this week is strong women know they are not alone, and they know they are living for more than just themselves, their feelings, or their rights or agendas. There is purpose for our pain, but we have to let God fuel our decisions. And ladies, just because you had a nightmare does not mean you stop dreaming. Thank you all for watching our show, for tuning in. I want to thank all of the guests that came on the show and my amazing co-host. Also, ladies, this is Women's History Month. We want to make sure that you are staying in tune to your bodies and your health. If you think you have fibroids, if you're not sure, if you want to ask questions, make sure you go to our website, usafibroidcenters.com. Schedule your consultations. You do not have to suffer in silence, and you don't have to suffer alone. Until next time.
Living for weekends, wishing I could take a break from this world. Running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't feel. I just wanna be a lost girl and fly.
Hey you guys, it's your girl Coach Ella Destiny. I wanted to make sure that you signed up for my So What You Can Sit With Me conference. Listen, if you have not signed up for anything else, make sure you sign up for this conference. We are only doing 50 women per day, and the slots are going so fast. The cost is only $150. And what do I get in my $150, Coach Ella? You're going to get your t-shirt, you're going to get your coffee mug, you're going to get your book, and also you get to sit with me. You get to pick my brain, you get to ask me whatever it is that you want to know, and I'm going to share my fibroid story with you. And then we're going to exchange so what moments. I'm sure you guys have all had a moment in your life where you thought it was so bad, and you can finally say, you know what? So what, that happened to me. Now how do I get to my next? That's what this conference is all about. We're going to have guest speakers. We're going to have giveaways. It's going to be so much fun. So make sure you go to my website, elladestiny.com, and sign up. So what? You can sit with me. We can have conversations. We can have girl talk. We can chat about anything you want to talk about. So what? You can sit with me. Go to my website, elladestiny.com, and make sure you register so that you don't miss out.